Welcome to the part 3 of building your Gemini memory. Let's get to it. Tell me a couple of interesting facts about myself. So let's do that. And this will be a pretty easy. It does move a little more slowly than your general prompts will, but that's because it's got a review thing. There we go. Awesome. So that's given me a pretty good answer. I can go now to my memory gem. It's going to remember my conversations here. The last thing that I recommend you do is you take the URL of this gem. So go up to your browser window. When you open gem, not the conversation you're in right now, go back just to the main gem page. It'll give you a URL up there. You want to either drag and drop that to your menu bar or just hit the star button in Chrome and save it. You might even want to save it as your homepage if you want. But then each time you open Gemini, you want to open it straight into your memory gem. So rather than going to the standard Gemini and then you've got to remember, oh yeah, that's right, I've got to go back and click on this gem to work with this gem. You just set it as a favorite there. Boom. Great. I can open up and I can access the memory gem in the first instance. Now, I can still use most of the tools. I don't know if it restricts any of them, but I think the most useful ones, things like Canvas, you can still use with the memory gem. So I could say something like, give me an SOP for the business to run an effective meeting based on what you know about our business in our business strategy document. And so let's see how this one goes. Remember that this is going to use both the public internet and public knowledge and blend it with the instructions that you've given, which I think is the most useful way. If you want to be limited just to the sources that you give, that's when you use Notebook LM. And of course, if you open up a fresh Notebook LM, you could add this memory document and then it would be pretty much contained just to the memory document. Notebook LM won't use outside information and outside sources from the internet unless you specifically ask it to. But the gem will blend public information with the memory and instructions that you've given it, which is really nice. Here we go. Cool. So purpose, how do we make our meetings effective? It's brought in systemize, organize, and scale as one of our missions. So that's actually what we help businesses do, but it's done that pretty well. It has said correctly, because we're a global company, we've got people in different time zones, meetings should be asynchronous. Focus on outcome, not discussion. Interesting. Okay, not just a talk. That's probably picked up my direct communication and management style. So I said, right, we're not here to talk, we're here to make decisions. Preparation is mandatory. An unprepared attendee is wasting everyone's time. Also probably taken from my leadership style. Great. So I like this. It's automatically created an SOP that is aligned to the context of who I am as a leader. And that is exactly what we are looking for here. If I was running a creative marketing agency and I wanted people to be inventive and brainstormy and creative above all else, I would have a very different set of instructions going in here, because I would be looking for innovation. I would be looking for wild creativity, and I would want us to be able to hang out and explore ideas without a strict focus on outcomes. That would be very different context. I'm managing people's emails. I don't want the team to be waffling and talking and thinking about it like our business has to be exact. We cannot afford mistakes, because we can't go to a customer and say, sorry, I did an oopsie on your DNS, or sorry, we forgot to renew your domain name and now your emails are down. That's not acceptable to our customers. So context is important in everything. Here we go. Create an agenda in Asana. It knows what app we use. So it knows to put Asana there. Live action capture, use a note taker to create subtasks for every action item during the meeting. We love ownership. End the meeting 5 minutes early. That's pretty darn good. So what I've noticed here is after I've created this context in my memory gem, I get a lot more results out of Gemini that are one-shot success. A one-shot success is when you go in here and you say, hey, help me create X, and with no other explanation needed, I just get what I want. If you go to Gemini, just the broad Gemini here, and say, make me a social media post, right? I mean, it's probably smart enough to ask me clarifying questions now, but basically I'll just get something generic and junk, right? Because it's not going to give me anything that's useful for my business. So it's going to think about it. Let's see what it comes out with. Here we go. A vibrant, eye-catching photo. Post text, happy Thursday. If you could teleport to one of these 3 places, where would you choose? Okay, you know what? I mean, that's not bad for giving it absolutely zero context, right? But let's do the same thing in my memory gem and just see what happens. I assume it's going to do something along the lines of promoting our business. Let's see what it does. And while it's thinking about it, I've got another business workspace account for my personal life, right? And if you're a business owner, I'd recommend you consider that. I've got an account for your business, but you want like a space for your personal life. You might choose to have your own Google Workspace account for that. It's a kind of more advanced strategy, but it works. I said, make me a camping SOP. And it used all of my personal information, all of the stuff that I'd fed it in my personal memory, and it made a perfect camping SOP. And it even told me what camera I should bring and what lenses were a good idea because I gave it an inventory of my technical hardware that I have at home, which was amazing. All right, cool. So here we go. Social media post, your business isn't ready for Gemini. Most businesses are unprepared for the shift to AI. There we go. My focus is helping businesses systemize, organize, and scale by making their business Gemini ready. This will turn your data from a liability to a strategic asset. Join our community. Claim a free IT systems health check. So it's got our products correct. You could also transfer your billing to us and get a bunch of free goodies. Nailed it. That's good enough to post. It's not amazing, but it's good enough to post.
If you liked this video, we've got plenty more on the channel covering this topic and much, much more.